Hey guys, it's Abhiram here. Welcome back to another episode of DRIVETERRAIN. What I have with me here today is the all-new 2024 Jeep Wrangler. Well, when I say all-new, it's more of like a mid-cycle refresh of the current JL generation that has been on sale since 2018. It might not look like much has changed from the outside, apart from that grille on the front, but trust me, quite a bit has changed, both in the exteriors and the interiors, and most importantly, in terms of powertrain choices for this market. Yes, you heard me right. The V6 is discontinued officially for the Sport and Sahara trims. So if you want the V6, you have to get the Rubicon. Instead, you get a new 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, the 2-liter turbo i4, which produces 270 horsepower and 295 foot-pounds of torque. So new engine choice, well, they don't come that often, do they? So I'll tell you more about how it drives towards the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. So start with the front end. You get a new front grille, which Jeep says has improved airflow. I think it looks pretty neat. You know, it looks pretty good and complements this Wrangler. Just your usual 7-slat grille. You've got a front camera right here, which assists with the trails and off-roading. You've got full LED headlamps with automatic high beam assist. So as you can see, you've got the DRLs over here, LED. And now for this new 24 model year, you get it as standard on the Sport S as well. So that's something that's changed for this model year. And speaking of the front grille, so this was actually debuted on the 20th anniversary Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. So from there, they actually brought it standard across the whole range, which I think is pretty good. Coming to the bumpers, your standard trail rated bumpers that you get on any Jeep Wrangler. It has the hooks on the front as well. You've got some silver accents going on the bumper with your fog lamps as well. Now the Rubicon does have steel bumpers, as you know, and for the very first time they're offering a worn winch which can have a load of up to 8,000 pounds as standard, fitted from the factory. And that's really good news because that means you don't have to worry your warranty when modifying stuff, and there's no RTA registration or passing issues. It's fully homologated for this region. So that's something that is good news for the Wrangler Rubicon. And other than that, well, it's just your usual Jeep front end. So let's go on to the side profile. Well, coming to the side profile, you've got new 18-inch wheels on the Sahara trim, way more sophisticated and way more complicated looking compared to your previous Sahara rims. Personally, I prefer those. I'm not a huge fan of this, but I'll give it that. It's fine. This one has got Bridgestone Dueler HT tires with a tire size of 285/70 R18. So yeah, those are the tires that you get on the Sahara. Other than that, you've got body colored fenders. You've got the body colored top as well. And they no longer sell the Sky One Touch power roof, or whatever they call it. Basically your electronic sunroof top. They don't sell that anymore because not much people bought it. So yeah, but I personally like the standard removable tops. I think that gives you that true Jeep feel. But yeah, if you preferred convenience, that old power touch roof would have been nice. Other than that, you've got your side steps to get in and out of the vehicle. You've got blind spot warnings on the mirrors. They are heated mirrors as well. And you do get keyless entry and go. So if you have a key in the pocket, you just put your hand over here, the doors will unlock. And once you close them, which is actually with quite a lot of force because it's a Jeep, you can just click this button right here and the doors will lock. Other than that, that's actually pretty much it really for the Wrangler side profile. Yeah, I've got a couple of badges, trail rated 4x4, which says that it's a proper true and true Jeep. You've got the Sahara emblem over here as well, Jeep Wrangler, just a sticker. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the side profile. So coming to the rear end of the Wrangler, well, not much has changed really. It still is the same Wrangler. You've got a LED tail light cluster right here with non-amber indicators, typical American fashion. So I can show you right there. So you've got a full LED cluster right here on the Sahara trim. Plastic bumpers, reverse parking camera integrated into the spare wheel. You've got a high mounted stop lamp right here, the third brake light. It's not on the roof because the roof is removable, if you forgot. A new full float Dana 44 heavy duty axles, which what Jeep says enables it to tow more compared to the previous Wrangler. So I think it's like 5,000 pounds towing capacity with the full float axles. So that's again something new for the Wrangler. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's check out the boot space. So just put your hand here, it'll unlock. You've got the swinging gate right here. It makes some noise. You've got your JL Sport Utility, all of the stuff written down there, because the two-piece tailgate basically. And in the back, you've got plenty of space. So this, what you're seeing right here, is actually the roll cage. So Wranglers have a roll cage built in from factory. So that's what you're seeing right there. Even the lights are actually mounted on that roll cage. Here in the boot, where you can put about 2 large suitcases comfortably, I think it should be fine. You've got a subwoofer right here for the Alpine sound system, and this is one of the best sound systems I've ever heard in cars in recent times. I mean, the way it delivers sound quality is really good. So we have some space down here below, so you can have your fire extinguisher and some roadside assistance kit kept there. You can basically put whatever you want in there. Then you've got some hooks to secure some stuff, and a 12-volt charging socket right there, so that's pretty useful. And yeah, that's pretty much it really in the boot. You can fold down the seats. I know there's an option to fold down the seats by pulling those triggers right there, so you can increase the boot space that way. And yeah, that's pretty much it really for the boot. So what are the interiors like on the new Wrangler? Well, for the most bit, it still is the same interiors. I mean, not much has really changed. So in the center, you have this new 12.3-inch touchscreen infotainment screen, which comes with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. So it is the new Uconnect 5 system, which Jeep calls it. You've seen this on the Grand Cherokee L before. It is a pretty smooth system to use. Much more technologically compatible compared to the previous Uconnect 4. So we actually have a Jeep Compass, and so I use the Uconnect 4 on that, and it's a pretty simple system to use compared to this. I mean, this has a lot of buttons, a lot of technology, so it does get some time getting used to the menus and how it operates, but yeah, much more technologically compatible. And most importantly, for the first time, you get improved microphones, so your phone calls will be much more clearer when the tops are off. So that's again a useful thing. And since the large screen is here in the middle, the AC vents, this chunky round vents, have been removed, and you have this slat like AC vent design. Coming below, you've got a huge set of buttons for literally so many, a million functions really. Window defoggers for the front and rear. You've got mirror heating as well. You've got your traction control off, start stop off, parking sensors off, hill descent control, screen off, temperature adjustment for both the driver and the passenger. Coming down below, you've got your window controls here in the center. So remember, the doors are removable on a Wrangler, which means that you can't have the window controls on the doors. So they're here in the middle. Cigarette lighter, I think it's part of some smoking pack probably. You also have the aux port right here with a USB-C port and a USB-A port. And coming down below, on the Rubicon, you would have some buttons here and some knobs to play with for the differential lockers, but in this one you have the select track 4x4 system, so it comes with electronic locking differential, so you don't really have any buttons. Coming down below, you've got a chunky stubby gear knob for your 8-speed automatic. You've got again one more knob right here for your 4-wheel drive transfer case, so 2 high, 4 high auto, 4 high part-time, neutral, 4 low. In the center, you've got 2 cup holders with a slot here to keep the key, which by the way is actually shaped like a jerry can, which is pretty cool. So it does have grips as well, so you can put some stuff in there without it moving around. Then you've got a manual handbrake still here in the side. Then coming down here, you get some space in the center console box to keep some stuff. You've got a USB-A port as well, and here you have a small space here to keep your roof removal kit. So it's a bunch of tools, so to remove your top. Contrast yellow stitching on this leather seats of the Sahara. You've got Sahara badging here as well. You've got your buttons using which you can control the MID here in the center. You've got your picking and dropping a call, voice assistant, which again activates Siri if you're in CarPlay. Then you've got your cruise control buttons right here. In the back seats of the new Wrangler, well, pretty much the same. You've got your standard seats here at the back. So under-the support is not quite great. As you can see, it's a bit lacking. But overall, the legroom is fine, your knee room is fine, headroom is fine, I have enough wiggle space for my feet. Overall, I am comfortable in this cabin, but there are a few things. For example, if you put your arm here on the armrest, it is a bit forward compared to where you're seated. I mean, these seats, remember, they are fixed. So the armrests are a bit front, so yeah, not the greatest thing out there. What else? The seats overall are just fine. I mean, there are gaps in the seats, for example, so You can feel that in your back. So it's not the most comfortable out here in the back, but overall it's fine. I'll give it like a solid 6 out of 10. You have a center armrest with 2 cup holders right here, so that's pretty good. You can use it as an armrest. It's pretty comfortable. It's nice. Other than that, you've got your window controls here in the center, because again the doors are removable. You have 2 AC vents in the back with no temperature adjustment or anything of that sort, but the cooling is great. It does provide adequate air. It's pretty good. You've got a lot of USB ports, 2 USB-C ports, 2 USB-A ports, 230 volt charging socket, 150 watts, so you can plug something into there. For example, like when you're on the trail or when you're camping, for example, it's quite useful. So what is the Wrangler like to drive? Well, I'm running out of light, so I gotta finish this up really quick. So first of all, under the hood you get the new 2-liter turbocharged inline 4. So it produces 270 horsepower and 295 foot-pounds of torque. So it has more torque compared to the 3.6-liter V6. So the main thing that Jeep says is that it can do 0 to 100 or like 0 to 60 0.5 seconds faster or 0.4 seconds faster. So yep, it is faster compared to the V6. It has more torque, and it gives a lot of that torque much more lower down in the RPM or rev range. So that is the main benefit of this turbocharged engine. But other than that, well, yeah, it's just a turbocharged 4-cylinder. Now the engine we get here doesn't come with the e-torque system. So what the e-torque system normally does is that it gives slight assist from the electric motors before the turbochargers kick in, so you don't have any lag. But this doesn't have that, so there is a bit of lag, turbo lag. I mean, it is a turbocharged car, so there is some turbo lag, but for the most bit it is well contained. Sometimes, yeah, it does catch you off guard, but for the most bit it's fine. Now, it doesn't sound as meaty and grunty as the V6, so that's definitely a thing. But, I mean, this is more efficient compared to the V6. I'm getting about 6.7 kilometers per liter, but again, we have been doing some adventurous driving, I shall say. So yeah, it's not really the ideal fuel economy. I think the ideal average is about somewhere between like 8 to 10 kilometers per liter. Claimed, I think, is 12 kilometers per liter, but yeah, I mean, come on, we never get the claimed figure, do we? But other than that, well, what is it like to drive? Well, pretty spacious cabin, nothing to complain about. You've got good visibility up front. I'm off-road right now, and as you can see, the ride is pretty good. I'm on a really bumpy road, but it soaks up the bumps pretty well, so that's great. You do have automatic switching to 4x4 if you put it in 4 high auto. I'm running on 2 high auto, like 2 high right now, so yeah, that's that. But yeah, overall, nothing to complain about. What else do I have to talk about? So steering. Steering is quite great. At highway speeds, it does get a bit... it has a bit of its own mind on the highway. You got to keep correcting it, or like you got to hold it pretty firm. Coming from a hot hatch, I think, yeah, you'll find the Wrangler steering quite different, but yeah, you got to keep it centered in the lane quite well, so that takes a bit of effort. But otherwise, the steering is fine. Off-road, it gives you that feedback that you want. You get that correct feedback that you need. But yeah, overall, quite nice. It's leather wrapped, so it feels really good in the hands. And one thing I like about these FCA cars, or Stellantis now actually, is that you have the volume controls and the radio controls behind. So I can increase and decrease the volume using these buttons at the back, and that's really helpful. It's something I always love when I get into these products. So other than that, well, I'm going to get onto the road right now, so we can talk more about the on-road driving dynamics. So on-road, what is the Wrangler like? So it's pretty responsive, as you can see. The 2-liter Turbo 4 is actually quite responsive. It does the job that you need it to do, and overall, yeah, it's quite good. Like even the fuel economy, I'm like on coasting. I'm getting really good fuel economy at the moment, and I've been driving this car around quite a bit, and I have like 156 kilometers range left. So fuel efficiency, this is less thirsty compared to the V6. It is better. So you feel like you're sitting in a tank. The way the Wrangler is built, you feel like you are behind a bulletproof tank. Like literally, that's the way how it feels. Especially with this high hardtop roof and the way how everything is shaped around you. That's what it feels like. You've got huge chunky mirrors so you can see what's going on behind you, and you've got like electrochromatic or like auto dimming rear view mirrors as well. What else? So 8-speed automatic. This is paired to the 2-liter turbo engine. It's a standard option with the 2-liter turbo. And as I said earlier, more standard safety tech. So you get forward collision warning, you've got side curtain airbags as standard. So this is now standard across all the trims, not just the Sahara. So safety wise, this car, they have upped the game. So pricing on the new Wrangler, well, get ready for this. Starting price, I mentioned starting price for the Sport 2-door, just under 193,000 dirhams. 190,000 dirhams. And just under 208,000 for the 4-door Sport. Has gotten quite expensive, hasn't it? It's no longer that affordable toy that you just modify and take it out. It's gotten expensive. Wranglers have gotten expensive, and I think even the previous Sport started like somewhere around, I think it used to come around like 130, 140. Sahara like 160, 170-ish 2-door, right? But now, I mean, the prices are just going out of hand. This Sahara aspect is somewhere around 260,000 dirhams. That's crazy. I mean, like, that's just a lot of money for a Wrangler. Because yeah, I mean, especially with the more tech that's coming in now, it really is getting more and more expensive. Other than that, well, even the antenna is gone. It's now integrated into the front windshield. So again, that raises costs, because if you break, if the windshield gets broken, then you have to, the price of replacement goes up. So that's definitely not a good thing, Okay, a bump coming up. So let's see how it takes this bump. Pretty well, for a Wrangler, this is actually quite well composed. I'll give it this. Even in the corners when I chuck it in, it for a Wrangler, it actually handles incredibly well. I mean, it's fine, really. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. So yeah, coming back to pricing. So obviously above the V6. So the V6 comes on the Rubicon, and then you have the 392 V8. V8 Hemi, and that's like 400,000 dirhams ish. So yeah, at that point it's just going way beyond the price range. Other than that, well, 8-speed auto, it sits in 8th gear pretty much all of the time, below 2000 RPM revs, pretty stable. Once you cross speeds of like 120, the wind noise kicks in a lot, so you can hear a lot of wind noise in the cabin. But again, this isn't exactly the most aerodynamic thing that you're driving, right? It's basically a big chunk or a block of metal just punching a hole through the wind. So I wouldn't really call it aerodynamic in any way, shape or form. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, as your support means a lot. And let me know in the comment section what car you'd like to see next on the channel. Once again, stay safe, have a great day, and goodbye.